Hi everyone, this is Kathy. Welcome to my channel, Kathy Mamolen, Psychic Medium. Today I'm going to review with you my favorite decks of 2021. For those of you that are new to my channel, I am a psychic medium. I have a large deck collection. I use them in my lives. I love to share my decks with you. So some of these decks I did purchase in possibly prior to 2021, but I did try to pick the decks that I purchased in 2021. A lot of these are, some are mass market, but a lot of them are independent decks, private creators. So I want to thank all the creators out there. You're amazing. I couldn't do my job without you. So let me just start with that. I have some categories for you. I picked a handful of the decks. I'm going to say these are the decks that I use the most, okay? These are the decks that I used in my live readings, and my pick-a cards, in my daily messages, my today's tarot, my love messages. So these are the decks that I find that I go to for different reasons, and I'm going to share those with you. But I picked 6 different categories and a handful of decks in each. I have 21 decks that are my favorites for 2021. So let's get started. These are the categories: whimsical, surrealism, a dramatic deck, a creative deck, animal decks, my most used and traditional deck, and then last but not least, the deck that I found that I used the most over 2021, which outside of my private readings, which I do use the Radiant Wise Tarot, Spirit Tarot for my private readings, which is not in this, but this little deck, I just kept, it was my go-to. I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many times I picked this deck up. So I will share with you at the end. So let's get started. Let's start with whimsical. I had a lot of fun with these decks this year. Let's get my table up. I had a lot of fun with these decks this year. This category is fantasy, okay, creative. I always put a couple on my lives. I always have 1 or 2 out, something like that. This is the last unicorn. I love this deck. I love the packaging. It is a beautiful deck. It has this gold gilding. A lot of these decks I do have a review for on my channel under my decks playlist. So take a look at that if you want to see the full deck. It has this gorgeous gold edging. These are fun. These are charming. This is the last unicorn. Let's see if we can kind of do this. I'm not going to go through the whole deck. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a handful of the cards just to give you an idea. 7 of Wands. They look gorgeous. I always record on this black background, so they always look gorgeous on the black. Queen of Swords. Look at her. Isn't she gorgeous? King of Cups. You can't beat him. I love the waves. Look at the waves coming up and around him. Isn't he gorgeous? One more, please, Spirit. And a Queen of Wands. Look at her. Isn't she charming? I love that cat. Fun, fun, fun. So that is the last unicorn. I love this deck. I got to tell you, I can't begin to tell you how many times I've pulled this deck for pick-a-cards or I don't know. I just think it's charming. It's fun. It's a little oversized. It's a little bit larger than a traditional deck, but I love the quality. I love the packaging. You know, the charm, you can't beat it. The charm is adorable. I'm pretty sure I purchased this year. I'm not sure. Again, I have probably 400 decks between tarot cards and oracle deck cards in my collection. So I can't remember when I purchased them, but I tried to pick the ones that I'm pretty sure I purchased this year. This deck was so cute. It literally is the Cute Cat Tarot. A lot of my decks I've purchased from Etsy. So some of you, if you're wondering where did I get these decks, check Etsy, check certainly Amazon, and then check make playing cards. I get a lot of decks from Make Playing Cards too, or the private deck. Sometimes you have to order directly from the deck creator. So this is the Cute Tarot. I love this. Cute cat. Who doesn't? I have 2 cat. I have 1 cat, but two cat decks today. Comes with a charming little book. It is a sweet little pink deck. A lot of times I will be honest, I will pay more money to upgrade the edging. This has, I don't know if I did in this deck or if it comes standard, but I'm just kind of letting you know, if you see this edging in some of these decks, I may have paid more for the edging. So keep that in mind. It has this beautiful metallic silver edging. It is a standard size deck. Now, the reason why I like the edging, I'm an overhand shuffler. I can't figure out how to do a riffle shuffle. I just can't do it. Plus, I'm afraid I'm going to ruin my decks. I'm like so impressed with people who can do that, but I'm an overhand shuffler. So what that means is I do this. Boom, 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 all day long, right? So there, ooh, that one just jumped out. Let's go with the jumper. 7 of Pentacles. Who needs a 7 of Pentacles today? Look how cute he is. Isn't he adorable? So they are so charming. And there's the cute cat tarot. So let's see what else. So here's the back of the deck. That's the back of the deck. Beautiful. Here's the star. This would be a great deck for kids. You know, somebody who wants to buy a gift for, you know, a little girl, little boy, something like that, wants to start reading tarot. You know, you can pull one card a day. It does come with a cute little guidebook, which has a little page for each card. Look at the moon. You know, he's just resting. You know, how cute. I love this. Look at the 2 of Swords, the little blindfold. I mean, it's just so charming. So this is in my whimsical category. It's certainly whimsical. It's a lot of fun. I did find myself drawing to this deck. I'm not sure because it was so cute or because I love the shuffle of this deck. You know I sound like a tarot card snob saying that, but I really am. It really comes down to the weight of the cards, the texture of the card stock. I'm such a snob, you know. I just love the feel of a card, a good card. Okay, so this was one of my favorite cards. You guys saw me using this deck in my lives all the time. I have a black cat named Prince, and I had to own this deck, Black Cat Tarot. I use this deck to death over Halloween. Just so gorgeous. Again, I do a lot of recordings. I also do a lot of private recordings on my website where people can purchase a reading from me, and I will record the cards and email it to them. So that's important to me because this is my business. I am a professional psychic medium, and this isn't just a hobby for me. So I want to make sure I'm using good quality, you know, tools, and that's what this is. This is the Black Cat Tarot. It's so charming. This is an oversized deck. It's more of a size of an oracle card. Okay, it's a little bit bigger. I will tell you that. It has this kind of beautiful little face. It does not have edging. I wish it did have a gold edging. I am not, I could because I have an artistic background. I haven't been brave enough to modify my decks. I'm just so afraid I'm going to screw them up, to tell you the truth, which I probably wouldn't, and they probably would be great. But I really envy people who modify their decks. But this could easily be modified. This edge could be black. It could be gold. It'd be gorgeous, right? But these decks are all two-toned. They're black, and they're black, gold, and white. So here's the King of Cups. Very graphic. This illustrator creator is so talented. When you look at the details in this deck, I just really admire the expressions in this deck, the detailing in this deck. Look at the Page of Cups. You know, he's got like this little bouquet of flowers. I mean, it's just so charming. Ace of Swords. One more, please, Spirit. Look at the look at the tower with the 2 cats falling out. So it's just so much fun. I got to tell you, you know, tarot is serious. Of course, it's serious. We're receiving messages. I use tarot as a tool, like I keep saying. Things just jump out at me. You know, I've been studying it for many, many years. I have tons of books. I'm always researching, looking things up, studying things. And, you know, it's just something that jumps out at you. You know, it's like knowing the cards inside and out and saying, boom, you know, something comes to you psychically, intuitively. And I have so much fun with different decks. I really do, because I never know what's going to jump out at me. So that was whimsical. Now, the next category I put into kind of surrealism, almost modern art. I don't know how to describe it any other way. But these were the ones that I thought fit that category, that I'm pretty sure a couple of these were new on the market this year. This was a big new release. I know, because it has an Oracle deck that matches that I have. And then there was a big, you know, wait and order it deck. And I did order it and I love it. This is the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Absolutely gorgeous deck. It is a mass market deck at this point. I do love this deck. I will tell you that. It comes with a little nice little book. Let's get the cards. The cards are very, very pretty. Little oversized, again, just a hair oversized. The back is kind of this sagey, washed out gray green color with this kind of fleur-de-lis, damask-y kind of print to it. And then the edging, again, I'm a snob. You guys know that. And the edging is a silver. Metallic silver. Cardstock's kind of shiny, very easy to shuffle. Love the shuffle. You know, I love that weight of that card. You know, I even like the sound, you know, like some cards. I'll show you some of my favorite shuffling cards too, because I just like that swooshy sound. Now, sometimes I'll sit here in between readings while I'm waiting to call somebody or to sign on to Zoom, and I'll just shuffle the card, my favorite decks, and it's just comforting to me. It's like a meditative feeling to me. All right, so this is Mystical Moments. Here is the Eight of Wands. Okay, so again, kind of a surrealism, artistic element to it. You know, certainly look at death. I mean, you know, the combination of, you know, her rib cage is sitting, you know, coming forward, and then these blooming flower energy, you know, for every ending, there's a new beginning, right? So, so that's coming through. And then look at the Magician. You know, the Magician, totally different concept from how we usually see the Magician. This is a little bit more difficult of a deck to read because it is not designed around the Rider-Waite system, which a lot of decks are kind of like copycats of that, and they're easier to follow along. So this would be a deck that you would need to know the meanings of the cards, and then, but you can also read them intuitively. You know, for somebody who is really good at looking at images and impressions, you could read a lot of these cards intuitively. So, but they're gorgeous. They are gorgeous, and I have enjoyed using them. I mean, look at how impressive just the colors are on my table. I mean, I don't care what you say. That's a pretty deck. That is a pretty deck. So I have really enjoyed this. Again, it is a mass market deck. So this has been on the market, but I do, you know, it's one of those decks where you anticipate it's being released and you do the pre-orders and you wait for it to come in and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I'm a little bit of I don't want to say I'm crazy as far as being a deck chaser, but decks that I know I'm going to love because I've seen that creator's work or I'm familiar with, they've done other decks, then I will commit to them. Okay. It's like, I'm a big book reader. You guys know that. It's like being in love with an author, and when they promote their next book, you are excited about it because you know what you're going to get, right? So that is something that's very important to me. All right, this deck is a lot of fun. I have a couple of decks from this creator. This is the Prisma Visions Tarot. Here's the back of the deck box, and here's the front. Again, surrealistic, modern, kind of artistic. It does have this kind of clamshell box, very pretty. And I like this particular deck because it's more colorful. I have some monochromatic decks by this creator, but I like this deck the best. And I definitely got this deck in this year. I'm almost 100% sure. So the back is this kind of teal blue with this kind of third eye feel, right? So that's kind of cool, maybe a little creepy, but it's okay. It does have this metallic edge. I will say that. I like the weight of this. This is a beautiful shuffling deck. Again, I'm spoiled. Let's put that box up on display. That is pretty. And then here is the colors. Look at the colors. This is the sun. Pretty sharp. Pretty sharp. That's the King of Wands. You know, I got to tell you, I do read these cards very well. You know, it's like anything. Of course, you can read every tarot deck, but there's tarot decks that have a tendency to, I don't want to say they're easier to read because it's not I guess you're more drawn to them. You fall into them. You are more in tune with them. Your intuition is more heightened. I will tell you, even though you are looking at something like this King of Wands, I mean, that talks to me because I actually can feel the energy coming off that card. And that's what I'm reading. I'm reading the energy in this particular deck. So that I love about this deck. Okay. I actually like decks that I'm not, maybe because I've been doing this a long time. I like being forced to use my intuition more. Okay. When the image is right in front of you and it's kind of easy, I like being pushed, if that makes sense, as a psychic. Okay. I like to be like, you know, it's like any career, right? I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to be pushed. And I will tell you, this deck pushes me. Oh, my hands just tingled when I said that. So Spirit likes this deck. That's nice. Look at the Hierophant. You know, you guys might be looking at this and go, what the hell is that? I don't even know what that means. But you know what? Keep practicing. For those of you that are new, look at the world. I mean, look at the energy in that card. It's gorgeous. I don't care what you say. That talks. That talks to me. Some of you might be watching me for the first time and going, she's nuts. She's crazy. But if you are an intuitive, if you are gifted, you probably know what I'm talking about. I love this deck. I really do. I really enjoyed this deck. I probably don't use this deck as often as I should. You know, it's hard. It's hard. I have so many choices. I love that I do the lives, you know, every few days that I come on live, because what I do is I rotate my decks and it forces me to use decks that I don't think about. Because otherwise it's like anything else. It's like clothes in your closet, right? You go to the same clothes over and over again. You keep, you know, of course, I have a wardrobe of black t-shirts, you know, but you have a tendency to go to the same things over and over again. But these were the 21 decks that I used pretty consistently this year. I will say that. This is definitely a new on the market. It came out probably more the first quarter, second quarter earlier this year, because I feel like I've had it forever now, but I haven't. This is the Dream Keepers Tarot. And I remember when this was coming out, everybody's like, oh my God, it's going to be so awesome. It's so different. It's so amazing. And it is. It has this beautiful book. It has this beautiful, you know, it kind of has a release in the box. So the box is gorgeous. It's very surreal. It is very surreal art. Okay, that's why I started this category. It has this kind of sagey, pale blue, gray blue. I'm going to say gray blue. It's like a Confederate blue. I don't know. It's kind of this gray washy blue, and standard size card. Okay, it's got a very muted tone. I'm going to say it that way. Here's the King of Wands, and if you look at the artwork is just like, it's kind of a little off. You know, let me give you an example. Okay, so here's a 10 of Pentacles. Here is a woman with her head like chopped off with like a little mini woman coming out of her head. Okay, so it's very surreal. All right. But it has a kind of a, I don't know how to describe it, a softness to it, I guess. And if you can get over the kind of weirdness of it, it reads pretty well. 8 of Cups. I think the tone is pretty. It's a little bit different than anything else I have in my collection. So that's why I grabbed it. And here's the Emperor. Okay. I did put it into my favorites category only because it is probably one of the most different decks I own. I have a tendency to be more traditional and go more artistic than I do modern decks. But I'm trying to push myself, and I'm trying to be open to, doing new things, knowing full well that when I push myself, I might get different messages, and, everything is meant to be. All right. So that is surrealism. I'm going to go to dramatic. Now, this has been one of my favorite categories. Okay. These are, why I call them dramatic is because they're just the intensity of the card. Okay. Whether it's the graphics, whether it's the colors, whether it's the drama behind the images. Okay. And I have a tendency to go towards these. I think they pop. I think they're wow. I think they're like, oh my God, look at these cards. So these are gorgeous. These are gorgeous. They're all gorgeous. I mean, I love all my decks. That's the problem. All right. So here is the Valida Woods Tarot. And I did order the Oracle deck that matches it. She has an Oracle deck that matches it. That's absolutely gorgeous. I think I had to order these from like Australia or New Zealand, or I don't remember. Some of my decks are from international. Okay. So keep that in mind. Created by Betty Skeet. There's the name of the deck creator. Okay. Comes in a little box. And I think this is a charming little deck. In the Oracle deck, and I loved using, I will say I love to be able to coordinate an Oracle deck and a tarot deck. I can do that with, two different deck creators too. But when it's the same deck creator, they really look pretty together because it's the same artist, right? So this is a really pretty deck. Here's the backing of the deck. Edging is plain, nothing special about the edging. The colors are intense. Here's the 9 of Pentacles, these acorns. Has a seasonal feel to it. It has a, and I love the shuffle of this deck. This is one of my better shuffling decks. See, hear that whoosh? See, that's what I'm talking about. That whoosh. The star, so it has florals. It has, look at the Wheel of Fortune, gorgeous, very graphic, very distinctive artist. Like you would, you recognize her work. I mean, if I put the Oracle deck down, you would recognize her work. One more, please, Spirit. 2 of Pentacles. There's the oak leaf again. Let me see what else I have. 7 of Cups. Look at the intensity of the colors. And again, I record on a black cloth. So the intensity, look at the High Priestess. Isn't she gorgeous? She's gorgeous, right? I mean, look at that. I mean, that's art. I don't care what you say. These deck creators are talented. I went to art school in New York City. I designed for 25 years. For those of you that don't know me, I designed interiors. And, I didn't realize I was gifted until I was older. I probably always was gifted, but I didn't realize I was gifted or a medium for sure. So I have such an appreciation for art because I did it, and these are talented people. All right. This was one of my favorite decks too. They're all my favorites. Do I keep saying that? Tarot by Caro. Okay. Here's the information, because it may be a hard deck to find. So let me just put that up there just in case somebody's really interested in this deck. This is the little box. I loved this deck. Again, this sense of graphic, this sense of, unique design. Okay. Here's the back of the deck. It's a standard size deck. Here's the back, same as the box cover. Okay. Shuffles beautifully. And then it has this, you guys probably remember me using this on the channel a lot. Here's my Knight of Pentacles. Very graphic, this kind of block art graphic energy. The intensity of the colors is gorgeous. Five of Pentacles. Here's my Death. Reads very well. I had no problem reading this deck. I actually enjoy reading this deck. Three of Cups. Pretty cool, right? This is nice. Now, I do want to say something. I spend a lot of money on my decks, so don't feel bad like if you are just starting out, as a psychic and you don't have this kind of library or tools, or you can't afford these kinds of decks. All right. Don't feel bad. You can use any decks. I used the same deck for 10 years. One deck, 10 years. I didn't start a Rider-Waite-Smith, an oversized Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and it's so beat up. I only started collecting decks the last couple of years, the last few years, when I really started to say, you know what, I want to have more to use. And I would just say in the last 3 or 4 years, I started to really collect decks. All right. So don't feel bad. Like, I don't want anybody to think, well, I can't buy these decks. Just remember, this is my full-time job. I'm a professional. This is all I do. And I buy one deck at a time. Okay. I buy one deck at a time. I treat myself. That's part of something that, maybe I don't buy other things for myself, but I buy myself tarot decks. So I don't feel bad because I work hard. That's how I feel. But I don't want anybody else to feel bad. If you think, oh my God, where does she get all these decks? Because they are expensive and they do add up. This is under the drama. This is under dramatic. This is the Super Luminaris deck. This is pretty sharp too. Here's the back of the deck. Let me just put that up there so you can see in case anybody is interested in. And again, a lot of these you have to approach the art. You have to, ooh, you know what? This is signed. Some of them are signed. Okay. Some of them are exclusive or part of a collection or something like that. Limited edition, that kind of a thing. All right. So here's the back of the deck. I love this deck. It's kind of this blue with this tealy green pattern, geometric pattern. And then it has this gold, rose gold. It's actually rose. I don't know if the camera's picking up the color. It's a rose gold metallic edge. So again, for those of you that are listening, what do I love about that? I love the swoosh because it gives the weight of the cards. It gives the weight of the cards. So that's just me. So these are gorgeous. Here's the Page of Pentacles. Now, I picked this deck and the next deck because of the drama, the more intensity of the actual artwork. Okay. Look at her. Right? Knight of Swords. The Wheel of Fortune. These are gorgeous. And then here's the Two of Wands. I love this card. And I just realized that. Look at, it's like you literally can see which way do I go with the path on that. I never noticed that. That's what the best thing about having more than one deck is that, and this one just flew out of my deck. So we better find out what that is. King of Pentacles. That is what I love. Each one has a story, and if I had 10 Two of Wands lined up from 10 different decks. Each deck would have something different would jump out at me. And that's how I use these. You know, it's like, what jumps out at me today? My Five of Cups, very dramatic, right? Very dramatic. So the intensity is very strong in this deck. So I do love this. You'll have to put in the comments below what your favorite deck is. Let me know. Let me know if any of these are your favorites, if you're going to run out and buy any of these. If you're one of the deck creators, let me know. Last year's deck creator for my deck of the year, you have to watch. I do have it on my channel, but I had gotten a random, I'll just tell you this story real quick, and then we'll go into this deck. Last year's favorite deck of the year. The creator booked me for a mediumship reading. And I had no idea who she was. She was an international call, and I pulled up Zoom, and I'm pulling up my cards, and I'm holding up my cards. And her deceased husband came through. She had tragically lost her husband. And she goes, "You're using my cards." I said, "Yeah, these are your cards for your reading today." She goes, "No, you're using my cards. I designed that deck." I was so blown away. You have to find that video. It was like my top 5 videos of last year or something, because I tell the whole story a little bit more in detail if you're interested. And I was so blown away because it was a moment in time in my life where I was using these tools to bring in my gift, which was connecting to her lost husband. And it was just like I had gone in some kind of like full circle with God putting us together. And I said, "How did you find me?" She said, "I found you on Facebook. I did a random search for mediums and your name kept popping up." And I was so blown away by that. It was just like, it was surreal. It was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm doing a reading for you and using your cards. And I had no idea. No idea. It was unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is the Elemental Wisdom Tarot. And this is a gorgeous deck. This is what started the category of drama for me, because I said, this deck is so dramatic and it's so pretty. It's oversized for one. It's oversized. So it's very much like an oracle card. I mean, it's huge. And this is the pretty. It looks like a Persian rug. Doesn't it look like a rug? Very pretty. And it has this matte gold. I love matte gold. Matte gold adjunct. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And the intensity of this deck is so unbelievable. Here's the sun. Here's the sun. Here's the Two of Cups. Beautiful, very dramatic. It's oversized. Look at the Page of Wands. Artwork is gorgeous. Intensity is gorgeous. Look at the Three of Cups with these mermaids. You know, so the artwork is gorgeous. I just think this was look at my Lover's card. You know, I mean, that's just stunning. So I use this deck a lot. I do. I like this deck. I think it's pretty. The only thing that, believe it or not, I don't like about it is it's too big. It's hard to shuffle. And it's, you know, I mean, I guess I can get over that, but it's big. It's a big deck. It's a big deck. And we have beautiful light coming onto my table. How nice. So anyways, that is the Elemental Tarot. Here's the back of the deck. Here's the information. I'll just throw that up there just in case anybody's interested in looking up some of these decks, or you actually want to purchase these decks. All right, I'm running out of space. I'm trying to make room. All right, so that was dramatic. I'm going to go into creative. Now, the reason why I call these creative is either the artwork I think is gorgeous. I think they're different. I think that, or they used historical art to incorporate into a tarot deck. Okay, so that is what That is what I'm going to say. So this is the Slow Tarot, this very pretty deck. And this is probably one of my favorite shufflers. I got to tell you, I don't know why. It's like a linen kind of cardstock. All right, so there's the back. It's got these bees. It's kind of a brown with like this gold, you know, line drawing. Okay, it's gorgeous. The edging is plain, but it has, I don't know if you can see it. The cardstock actually has got kind of a linen-y feel. So it's a very soft shuffle, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, I just love the shuffle of this deck. I always have. It's a little dark, but it's okay. Here's the Four of Wands. It has a little border. I go back and forth with border, borderless, something like that. It depends on the deck. It really does. Two of Cups. So they look like oil paintings, like traditional oil paintings, you know, and that's what I love about it. They're just kind of this old-fashioned oil painting. Knight of Wands. This is the Slow Tarot. Here is the Page of Pentacles, Page of Coins. That's one thing that I do struggle with a little bit. Not that it's hard, but when deck creators change the suits and they give them their own creativity spin, and it takes me like a minute to try to figure out, like, okay, what is this? What is this card? You know, like, is this a pentacle or isn't this a pentacle? I mean, a coin is easy, but some of them are, you know, crazy. So I try to avoid some of those decks because I spend, instead of just reading them and being fluid and not thinking about it, I actually have to stop. It's like reading a foreign language. I just have to stop and think about it. When I have to stop and think about it, I lose my creativity and I lose my, you know, just that kind of instant message, that gut energy that comes into me, which, you know, is what I rely on. So, I found that I'm trying to avoid decks that don't just kind of follow a traditional, I'm a Rider-Waite-Smith reader, no qualms about it, and I am what I am, you know. So, all right, so this is another Tarocco Studios deck. This is the La Metamorphosis du Jour deck, and this is gorgeous. I have been using this. I did use this quite a bit on my channel. So let's put this. Very pretty. This is the back. A little bit oversized again. Little bit oversized. And then here's the 10. I could have put it in the whimsical also, but I put it under creative because of the artwork. Traditional, this is like folklore artwork, you know, famous artist, and 10 of Pentacles. 5 of Swords. Pretty, right? You know, it kind of gives you that, you know, fairy tale kind of energy, right? 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands. And I have the Baba Studios deck also. This is, which is much larger in scale, that looks similar to this, same artist. But this scale is easier to me to use. So I do find myself, I'm using it more. Page of Swords. Pretty cool, right? You guys like that one? Let me know. Let me know which ones you like. What are your favorites? What are your favorites? I want to know. All right, now this one I put under creative. It's a little bit, I got to tell you, out of all my decks on my table today, it's probably the furthest from what I would say is my, let me just see something. I want to see if I can get rid of that shadow. Did that make it worse? All right, my little guy's making a shadow. I don't know. All right, I got a thing on order for my window. I got a big window thing done. This is a little bit it's more modern than I would usually say. It's a different color palette than I would usually pick, but it's very, very pretty. And I do find that I read very well with it. I did not think, I thought I bought it because I said it's so pretty, I have to have it. But then when I actually started reading with it, I said, you know what, I actually am reading really well with this. And this is the Moonchild Tarot. It's a Moonchild Tarot. Here's the back of the deck. Here's the back of the deck. Let me show you this. This is a pretty deck. It really is. The cardstock is pretty. The design is pretty. It's got kind of this, I guess, Egyptian kind of feel to it. The back, it's very sophisticated. I don't know. It's like modern, you know, and sophisticated. This is white with a gold line graphic. It's beautiful. It's got a little bit of a metallic. I don't know if the camera's picking up the metallic. Very pretty. And it does have a gold edging, matte gold edging. Okay, so that's pretty. Again, an oversized deck, more along the lines of an oracle card. This is so pretty. 5 of Swords. The colors are very, I apologize for this sun, but we'll just get through it. Here's the moon. So it has like these Egyptian kind of elements to it. It's muted. It's got like pinks and purples and golds and bronzes. And it's, you know, it's kind of a washed out, look at like washed out pastels. It's a very pastel-y deck. I'm going to say it that. 10 of Cups. Very pastel-y deck. A little bit more modern. 5 of Pentacles. It's very pretty. I put it, like I said, it has pushed me. This is outside of my box. It is outside of my comfort zone. It is not a deck that even 5 years ago I would have said, oh, I have to have that. So to buy it and to actually be reading with it and enjoying it is growth for me. But I think it's a beautiful deck. I think it shows beautifully. I think it reads beautifully. I like the intensity to it. And I do like the overall design. Look at the 2 of Wands. She's got kind of like a, I don't know, you know, like, I know what I want. She had a little bit of an attitude in that pose to me. All right, so that's nice. So this is a pretty deck. All right, so that was my creative. Now, I picked a handful of my animal decks. I have a lot of animal decks. I do have a tendency to buy animal decks. I will say that. I think anything nature-based, I have a lot of nature-based decks. I think anything nature-based is something that I do enjoy. This is a pretty deck. This is called the Healing Waves Tarot. And I know this is new in my collection. I don't even think I've owned this for a couple of months. There's the back. And this is by Nawan Junasari, maybe. Okay. And it's a pretty little box. Healing Waves. I like the kind of backing with this kind of breaking blue. It's a blue, definitely a blue deck. It has a blue edging. I think it's the only deck that I have that has this kind of, it's like a light royal blue. Okay, so it's very pretty. It's also got a petal, rose petal finish, like a velvety feel to it. The cardstock is gorgeous. So here is the Page of Cups. Isn't he cute? I don't know what he is. Here's the Knight of Earth. So they're all animal-based. So these are my animal-based decks. Isn't that gorgeous? The artwork is gorgeous. The cardstock is gorgeous. Look at him. Look at the Queen. Queen of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. You know, they're really just well done. This artist is beautiful. Five of Wands. I forgot how gorgeous the cardstock is. It's a velvet. It's a rose petal finish. It's gorgeous. The High Priestess. So these are nice, and they show nice. They're beautiful. They're symmetry. 11:11 on the clock while I'm recording that. Thank you, Spirit, for reminding me. I'm doing this because I'm gifted. It's okay if I screw up on the words. Thank you, Spirit. That was kind of like Spirit's way of saying, it's okay, Kathy, that you can't say symmetry. Symmetry. I can't say it. Tongue-tied. That's okay. Spirit told me it's okay. Spirit told me it's okay. I'm doing a great job. All right, let's see. This is a fun deck. I love this. This is a pretty deck. This is the Forager's Daughters Tarot. Very pretty deck. Very pretty deck. I can hear it inside, and I remember now the edges are a little chipped, and it's not the deck creator's fault. I spilled coffee on this deck, and I'm devastated because I had to like lay them all out and dry my cards, and they're okay. I saved them. Maybe they just, you know, they have a little bit more of me in them, you know, because I'm a coffee drinker. But what happened is it did chip my beautiful silver. So here's the backing of the deck. It's like a purple. It's a very, very faint lilac. Okay. It's very pretty. And it has a rose petal gilded metallic edge. It's a rose color. Okay. And again, I apologize to the deck creator. It's not your fault that my edges look like this, because it was the cup of coffee. So now I have a new rule: no coffee on my tables. So I have to keep my coffee behind me somewhere else. King of Pentacles. Very pretty. Very, very pretty. This is my Hermit. Look at my Hermit. It's my animal. These are my favorite animal decks of 2021. So here's my Hermit. Here's my Fool. Look at my Fool with the egg cracking. I love this. I love this deck. I was using this deck a lot in the spring. I used decks seasonally, so that I was using this a lot in the spring. Here's my Three of Swords. Look at this poor guy. Very pretty. Eight of Cups. Queen of Swords. So, you know, animal decks are unique in the respect that, you know, one, it gives us that element of nature, right? I don't know. You know, I have a lot of animal decks, but I use them as like a secondary deck, if that makes sense. All right. They wouldn't be like my primary deck that I would do a full reading with. What I would do is I would use one of my stronger decks, and then I would use this as like a clarifier. And I would just say, you know, pull some cards out of this and just say, you know what? Yeah, I do feel that, you know. So animal decks are a little bit, like I said, I'm going to say they're secondary. As far as like a full reading, as a full reading. All right. I don't know if I certainly wouldn't do a private reading with any. I mean, I use my what I refer to as my soul decks for my private readings. Not that I couldn't, but I don't know. Maybe it's a level of comfort. I don't know. I mean, I love all these decks, but I do feel like I use them as a secondary. I will say that. I love this. I love this deck creator, The Journey of the Sacred Bay. This was definitely one of my favorite decks this year. I got to tell you, I think that this is incredibly designed. And she came out with an Oracle deck too. And I think I have the Oracle deck on order. And this is a signed copy. I'm like surprised by it. I opened it up and I'm like surprised by it. I forget. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. So this deck I know is one of my favorite shufflers. I'm going to say that. It is this gorgeous teal. Gorgeous teal with these metallic teal bees on the top. Metallic teal edges. And it is one of my favorite shufflers. Absolutely. So much fun. So much fun. I love the intensity of this deck. I love the colors. My Ace of Pentacles. The colors are gorgeous. Nine of Swords. I use this deck a lot in my live readings. Five of Cups. It also has, I'm just remembering now, it also has a keyword. Most decks don't have a keyword. I have another deck for you that I'm going to show you as far as like what would be a good beginner deck that has some keywords. So these each have which is great, like Five of Cups, disappointment. That's perfect, right? Nine of Swords, despair, you know, so I mean, as far as, I don't know if it's a beginner deck, but Queen of Swords. So some of them have keywords. Some of them have keywords, which is nice. Here's the Star. Look at the Star. So it's the sacred bee. It's all about bees. And that's okay. But it's a gorgeous animal deck. It's a gorgeous animal deck. I love this teal. I love the weight of the deck. I love the metallic edges. I just think this is a high quality, well-designed deck. They all are. They really are. I mean, but, you know, it's like anything else. You have favorites. Favorites within my favorites, I should say, right? The Stolen Child Tarot. This is by Monica Knighton. And this is definitely an animal deck. This is definitely an animal deck. This is pretty. And it did come with, now this is one of those decks where they changed the suits. So, for example, the Oaks are my pentacles. They have Oaks, Zephyrs for swords, Brine for cups, and Flames for wands. I actually have to have a little note at my desk, like, what the hell is a Zephyr? I don't know what a Zephyr is. So I do have her book. I was like, you know what? I love your deck, but, you know, could we have just kept with the suits? You know, like it works, but everybody's got to do what they got to do. I do like the weight of this deck. It's this kind of sagey green with this images on this back like this. Maybe that's my, I don't know, my Zephyr. Does anybody know what a Zephyr is? Let me know. Let me know. All right, here's my moon. I liked the artwork. I thought she's incredibly talented illustrator. I think it's beautiful. So here's the moon. And then here is my Knight of Flame, which is my wands, right? So that one I could have figured out. That one I could have figured out. Here's my sun. But again, I don't want to stop in the middle of my reading and go look at a card and go, what is a King of Zephyr? You know, like, and have to think like, oh, this is my sword suit. Like, I don't want to have to do that. I know I can do that, but I don't want to have to. So that is why I'm moving away from decks that change. You know, I get too many decks to pick from. So nine of wands. Nine of wands. I think the artwork is gorgeous. I think the border's a little big on these. I will say that, a little white, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I think the artwork was so gorgeous that I said, you know what, I can live with the border. But some people would probably, if they wanted to, they may trim that. You know, they may actually trim the border, or if they could from the back, yeah, they could. They could probably trim it a little bit. But I thought the artwork was gorgeous. I really did. And there's my Zephyr. There's my Knight of Zephyrs, which is my Knight of Swords. Now, does that say Knight of Swords to you? So I have to take a minute to think about it. But I did put it in my favorites, because I think the artwork is gorgeous. And I think that I just need more time with this deck so that I know them inside and out. And I don't have to think about what a Zephyr is. I don't have to. I just know that automatically that's my, that's my knight. So, but that's on me. That's on me. And when you get a new deck, there's a learning curve. It's like anything else. You need to practice. You need to get to know. I've got decks over here I haven't even started using because I have to literally go through the guidebook and I have to study these decks before I can use them. They're like, I hate to say they're over my head, but I do. I have to know these decks before I start to use them. So I've got a couple of decks over here on my table that in between everything else, I'll like pick up a card, look up what the creator's intentions were and just say, okay, I'm on the page with that. Now I know where they're going with this. So it is a time investment to get to know the decks and be able to use the decks. All right. Now, this is one of my favorite decks. Now, this category is my traditional decks, my probably, I'm going to say traditional decks, Rider-Waite-Smith based desk. And then I have at the end this little deck that it was like a little workhorse to me all year long. So I want you to see that. Now this deck, I think I ordered this from Japan, and I had a laugh today because I pulled it out of the box, and the guidebook came out, and it's the Alchemia tarot card. It's from Japan. And of course, we were in the middle of COVID, like trying to order this deck. But I laughed because I pulled out the guidebook and it's all in Japanese. No offense, Japanese, but I think it's all Japanese. I'm like, well, okay, so not that I need the guidebook, but I laughed because I forgot that it was, but I love this deck. This is a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I have been using this to death. I got to tell you, I'm calling it my sparkly deck. The back is yellow. It's like a bright yellow. It is a Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's stunning. It's like intensified. Okay. It's brightened. It's glitter. Look at the sun. The intensity is very high. So it records gorgeously. 7 of Wands. So it's a Rider-Waite-Smith based desk, but what they did is they colorized it and they intensified it. And look at the Lover's card. So for those of you that follow me probably recognize this deck because I use it all the time. I think it looks great. You guys like that? I love this deck. I've been using this deck to death. So it is a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but I loved the intensity of the colors. I should do a whole video on all my different Rider-Waite-Smith versions. I probably have 25, 30 decks that are, just Rider-Waite-Smith versions, different colors, different creators. So this is probably one of my favorites right now, but I'm pretty sure I ordered it on eBay, and I'm sure that it's some kind. I think it was Japan. All right. This deck, this is new to my collection. I don't know when this came out. It is a mass market deck. A lot of people know this deck, but I did put it on my favorites because I have found myself using it a lot. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. It's the Modern Witch Tarot. It is definitely a mass market deck. And a lot of people have been using it. You may be familiar with this deck, but I thought that I would show it only because I have been using it. It's glossy. I'm not sure what I like about it. It's modern. It's modern. It's glossy. It's diverse. I like that. This is the back. The back is kind of this bright blue. This is a great deck if you're interested in starting to learn how to read tarot. This would be a good deck to start. It's a pretty good deck. It's pretty easy. Here's the Queen of Wands. So it's an updated version. The intensity is nice. 10 of Swords. Here's my death. A lot of you may be recognizing this deck, but it is definitely new to me. I'm pretty sure I bought it this year. I'd seen it around for a while, but I have so many decks similar to it that, but then I finally said, you know what, it's a nice deck. And then I'm finding I'm using it all the time. Here's the Queen of Pentacles. So it's, I'm not going to say simple, but it's a more modernized version of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. It's just a little bit more updated. And I like the colors. In cardstock, it shuffles beautifully. And it would definitely be for somebody who wanted to start to learn tarot. I would say that that is a starter deck. Then I have another deck. This is a great starter deck. I pulled this out for people that would like to learn how to read tarot. And I do have a tarot course on my website, and I'll put the link in the description below. If you'd like to learn how to read tarot and you'd like to take a 3-hour course, it's on my website. It's a recorded course, okay? So you just buy the recording and then you can watch it at your own pace. Simplicity Tarot. I don't know if I got this from Etsy or not. I'm not sure. But here's the back, simplicitytarot.com. There's their website. I pulled this only because I don't know if it's necessarily one of my favorite decks this year, but I thought that it would be beneficial because I get asked this question all the time. What is a good deck for me to start with? And I always say a Rider-Waite-Smith deck for sure. But this deck, the design is simple and it also has keywords. So I'm going to show you this. So here's the back. It's white with this kind of moon and blue. And then it has this rose red edge. The edges is gorgeous. It's like a ruby red. And so it's very pretty. Shuffles beautifully. So that I like. I've been using it just for that reason. And then it has these white, you know, it's like a white background. It's very simple. Okay, so it's a beginner deck. But what I like about it, and I want to share with you, are the key words. So here we are, 7 of Cups. It says options and pipe dreams. So for those of you that are learning tarot and you feel overwhelmed with having to memorize all the cards and, you know, like you want to know instinctively what that card means and you get confused sometimes, it gives you a couple of keywords that are spot on, that are just enough to trigger your imagination and your intuition so that you don't lose track of your train of thought. You don't get hung up on, I can't remember what this card means. And you can keep going, all right? So that's what I love about this. So here's the 5 of Swords, conflict and defeat, okay? So I might not be in 100% in agreement with those are the best keywords with every card, but they're general enough that it's a general understanding of the cards. Death, endings and new beginnings. So I thought this was a great deck. I think it's well designed. King of Swords, dominant and stern. It's simple. Again, a beginner deck. You could buy it as a gift for somebody. Somebody wants to learn tarot. It is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith system, and then it throws in those keywords. And it's very pretty. I mean, it's a very pretty deck. I mean, you know, if you're a beginner reader and you're starting to do readings for people and you put this in front of somebody and have them, you know, select some cards, I mean, I'd be impressed with that deck. I think it's beautiful. So I thought that I would share that with you because I thought that that would be something that some of you may be interested in. All right, so that was the Simplicity Tarot. Now, this is the deck. I can't believe we're already at the end. This is the deck that surprised me the most this year. This deck, first of all, it's the mini edition. I should see if I could get, I don't think I can get the larger edition. I don't know if it's available anymore. It's the mini edition. So it's a smaller deck. It's not quite a mini deck. I'll show it to you in comparison to a standard size deck as far as size in a second. But I mean, it's like God's talking to me on my table. Look at this light. How gorgeous. Hold on one second. Let me just do this for a second. This deck I was using as clarifiers. I was, like, if you look at my videos, you'll see I keep pulling out this deck and I keep going to it and I keep just going boom, 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 boom. I read really well with this little deck. I love the intensity. I love the images. The most I love about it is the scale of it, because it fits in the palm of my hand and I just shuffle it and it's so relaxing to me. So this is the most used deck of 2021 for May as a medium. And it is, dun, 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 drum roll please. It is the Forest Creatures Tarot by Tarako Studios again. They had done the, where is it? The Elemental Wisdom Tarot. Remember the Elemental Wisdom Tarot? So here is the little tuck box. The box is nothing, the box is no big deal. And you guys will probably recognize this deck because you see it all the time on my channel. And I want to show you the scale. First of all, here's the back of the decks. It's all fairies. It's based on fairies. So if you like fairies, it's a great little deck. So those are like little fairy lights in the forest on the back of the deck. Very pretty. And let me show you the size. Now this would be like a traditional tarot deck, the Modern Witch. And then this is the size. So it's not quite a mini deck, but it's considerably smaller. But it fits in the palm of your hand and it just feels so good to shuffle. I gotta tell you, this is the deck that when I'm waiting in between appointments, that I will sit here and just go like this for, 5 minutes and just kind of ground myself and wait. So let me show you why I love this deck. The moon. These gorgeous little fairies. And I don't know, I just read so well with this deck. Judgment. It's so pretty. I love the colors. Two of Swords. I don't read with this deck as my primary deck. I definitely read it as I'll lay out 5 or 6 cards. I will do a spread and then I'll come back into that spread with this as a clarifier. So I don't read it as my primary deck, if that makes sense. But I definitely will do spin-offs, and I'll say, well, I want more information about this particular card, or I'll ask Spirit another message, can I have some guidance on what you mean by this? And I'll pull 3 of these. And that's how I'm using this deck over and over. I don't even take it off my table anymore. So it gets the award. This was the best investment I made in 2021. This was the best investment. Here's my 3 of Wands. So some of you are probably recognizing these cards because you see me using them all the time. Now you know why. I read really well with them. I do. And you know what? That's all that matters. And that's really what this is all about. 10 of Swords. Now, I put 21 decks out on my table today. And for those of you that are readers, you may go, I don't like any of those. Or you may say, I like this one, but I don't like these. And that's what's so great about the tarot deck world, which is a whole world, believe it or not, is that there's cards for everyone. There's different artists, there's different styles, there's different, based on your needs, your personality, your taste, and, what you're drawn to is most important, and as anybody who's gifted 5 of Swords, you want to be the best that you can be. And if you're using tools that work for you, like these work for me, it makes your life a lot easier. It makes me happy. When I pick up this little deck, it's like comfort. It's like comfort food, you know, like I just put this in my hand. I start to shuffle. I just do my thing. And I don't know, it makes my life easy. I'm so glad I bought this little deck. I got to tell you, you know, it's just so sweet. It even feels good. It's got like a pedal soft, you know, hand to it. So I hope you guys enjoy this deck. I do. Here's my Justice card. So now you may see me using this, and I like the colors. You know, the colors are kind of intense and but soft at the same time. Like they're not like hard. I just like the intensity. Look at my Chariot. I mean, who doesn't say that he's not charging forward? Right? And the fairies. I love the fairies. I love everything about it. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't know about you guys, but I have had a lot of fun. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed 21 decks. Wow. I want to take a moment just to thank you for being a subscriber, for following me, for believing in my gift, for believing in this world. And I'm so grateful. I really am. I hope you enjoyed this. A lot of these decks I have done an unboxing for, and you can check out my playlist on my channel for my decks. There's lots of unboxings, and I do try to do an unboxing when I get a new deck, but I get behind. But there may be decks that you could see the full deck before you purchase them. If you have any questions about any of the decks that I've mentioned today, you can comment below, and I'd be happy to help you if I can help answer your questions. In the meantime, I want you to continue your own tarot journey. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing world to live in. And tarot cards and tarot decks are my most important tool as a psychic medium. I can't do my job without them. And I just love it. I just love them. Maybe I'm a little bit too obsessed. Maybe I have a little bit too many decks. But you know what? At this point in my life, part of me feels like, you know what? If the worst thing that I'm doing in my life is collecting tarot cards, then shoot me. You know, it's okay. It's all good. It's good stuff. If you're new to my channel, please remember to hit that like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. And I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.